As Drake would say, started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now Big Deke News is here. Yeah, you see the new screen. You see the new technology. It's unfortunate, though, we have to say goodbye to what we were previously using. And yes, as a TikToker did speculate, it was a potato. And honestly, it was pretty good quality for using a potato. But alas, Big Deke News needs to grow, needs to continue to improve and get up with the times. Potatoes used to work, but not anymore. So for this edition of Big Deke News, we're going to be talking free agency. And it's literally almost 2 weeks away, thank God, because the amount of quarterbacks that have been linked to the Steelers up to this point is an astronomical number. Here's the list. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Mitchell Trubisky, Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Teddy Bridgewater, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy G, Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, Malik Willis, Matt Corral. Am I missing anyone? But this is what happens when you don't have your franchise quarterback around anymore. You know, the guy that the fake fans were trying to run out of town this whole time. The nation just goes insane, though. It's lost. It's without direction. We always had a quarterback. We always had a guy that we could rely on that was going to keep us in the mix. Think back to 2019, though. This is a lot what it feels like. All of a sudden, it was Mason for a couple weeks. Then we're clamoring for Duck. Oh, Duck starts to shit the bed. Now it's back to Mason. And all we really have right now with this quarterback talk is just speculation. And what's that going to change? We need some hard facts. Enough of the fake news and rumors. And with that being said, sources tell me that the Steelers may be targeting 3 quarterbacks right now. Jameis Winston, Mitchell Trubisky, and also Teddy Bridgewater. With Teddy Bridgewater, my answer is pretty simple. Just no. I don't think he's that good. And even if you wanted to try to talk me into a contract being cheap, like around Mason Rudolph's level, $5 million, even $3 or $4 million, I'd just rather see what I have in Mason then, because I think he has at least more upside than Teddy Two Gloves. For Jameis Winston, yeah, okay, I'm for it, but the question is at what price? And the more and more I think about it with some of these quarterbacks, the more and more I think that Mason Rudolph as the quarterback is actually somewhat of a feasible option. So let's take Jameis Winston, for example. You have to ask the question, how much better or worse do you think Mason Rudolph will be than Jameis Winston next season? Let's not talk about career, because obviously for career, Jameis Winston is the much more productive quarterback. But just for next season, so let's say Jameis Winston gets around $10 million. That $10 million added with Mason Rudolph's $5 million means that we have $15 million allocated to 2 players, and one of them is not going to see the field. Whereas if we just stick with Mason and don't sign any other quarterback, that's $5 million to Mason, and then all of a sudden another $10 million freed up for another position. So maybe that $10 million, maybe it's $11 or $12 million, could be allocated to Stephon Gilmore. So the question you got to ask yourself is, would you rather have Jameis and Mason for $15 million on the roster? Or is it Mason and Stephon Gilmore for around $15, $16 million? But at least you know both of those players are going to play. And then finally, Mitch Trubisky. If you would ask me months ago, maybe even a couple weeks ago, I would have said hell no. But the more and more I think about it, why not? He's got some talent, former number 2 overall pick. Everyone's saying that he reinvented himself up in Buffalo. And he's got an MVP. And let's be honest, those jokes are getting kind of old. But he does have the MVP, and that's something that no one else on the Steelers roster can say right now. But the cap hit's got to be low. It's got to be something cheaper than Mason, I think in the $3 to $4 million range. Because as I mentioned, we are trying to build out this roster, and I don't want any wasted cap space when I do think we still can put out a pretty good team. I still think we could get in the playoff mix. If we add a Stephon Gilmore, if we add a Kendricks, if the Vikings cut him because they're in rebuild mode, Cordarrelle Patterson, a couple offensive linemen, then we also have our draft. You mean to tell me that's not a competitive team? The X factor is Mason Rudolph. If he flops, then yeah, we look like idiots and it's all for naught, and we're just like, what were we doing last year? But if he does do well, this is the type of formula that can get a team for a deep playoff run. So let me know what you guys think about some of these quarterback suggestions that have been popped up on Twitter recently. Mitch Trubisky, Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston. How do you feel about them versus Mason Rudolph? That is it for this segment of Big Deke News. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay chillin'. Peace.